Welcome back to another episode of Shit I'm 30 with me, your host, Carla Ramirez.
And your boy Tony, a.k.a. Anthony, b.k.a. I don't give a fuck what you call me, just don't call me no bullshit.
Oh, bitch, you practiced that for real, then?
It hits though, bitch. It hits, and we're going to be able to put it on the t-shirt, too, right?
It was cute. It hit, bitch. I know you was up all night practicing
all
that
night.
shit.
I said, let me get my motherfucking name together so I can stop playing. Motherfuckers.
Wait, so say that again. Tony, a.k.a. who?
A.k.a. Bertram, b.k.a. I don't give a fuck what you call.
What is BKA?
Better known as.
Oh.
You ain't know that?
No.
I'm trying to take it back to the early 2000s and the 90s when we used to write letters and shit like that, and AKA on the back of your shirt.
Okay, I'll do that with the 4-page letter.
Yep. Yeah, bitch, exactly. Back in that time.
No, the only letters we had is like, you want to date me? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, no. And you used to fold it up in a little cute little thing.
Well, I didn't. They gave it to me. They would pass it to me.
Yeah, I used to save all those. And when you're feeling lonely, you'll go ahead and open them up. And, being in love in the 4th grade.
It was so good.
I was just telling this boy, we was vibing. And this song, She Walked By Me Every Day. Haven't had the word to say. The woman that's stolen my heart. And beauty is her name. I'm hoping I can make you mine.
Damn, bitch,
before another man steals your heart.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
And once
Who is
this
it?
beauty is mine.
Okay, bitch, shut up
So
now.
it's Drew Hill. Drew Hill came up with that song, and I wrote that girl that letter. So me and the boy sitting there, we chilling in the bed.
Oh, a girl. You wrote a girl this letter?
Yeah, this was in the 6th grade. I wanted to ask her out, and I didn't know how to ask. And I was like, you know what, bitch, I'm going to write. So I wrote those lyrics down and gave it to her. And me and the boy was chilling. I was like, oh, this just takes me back to the 6th grade when I wrote that girl that letter. I used to get a girl all my lunch money, too, girl. I used to ask my mom for money. She said, I'm not giving you the money so you can go get these little bitches. I'm not doing that no more.
That's why we telling Ayana. She's trying to give it to them boys. She doing it all wrong.
All wrong, bitch.
All wrong.
All
I'm like,
wrong.
did your mama teach you something? You take these niggas' money. You don't you don't give it to them. I got my high school boyfriend sent me You Got It Bad. He wrote me those lyrics. I know.
I love that motherfucking album, bitch. When
What?
Usher dropped
Every
Confessions,
single song.
bitch, I really was singing like I fucking got another girl pregnant on the bus. Like, really stressing out, bitch.
Don't stress,
Usher
baby.
took us there, bitch.
You would have never lost none of that hair for stressing out for getting somebody pregnant, baby. It ain't gonna happen. All right, so let's go into our show you should know this week. And you sent me this because you saw it, and I've been outraged ever since. And it's the fact that the Florida approved the bill allowing classroom teachers to be armed. So basically, the Florida House of Representatives passed a controversial bill on this past Wednesday that would permit classroom teachers to carry guns in schools. The bill was already approved by the Senate, but now it has to go in front of Ron DeSantis, our new governor, which I call him Baby Trump.
He is,
And
bitch.
he really is.
Is this man Spanish?
DeSantis?
Yeah.
Hell no.
That explains why he's doing all this. I thought he was Hispanic, bitch. Last name DeSantis.
What is that? No.
That ain't a Spanish last name?
No, it's not. It's a cracker.
Girl, I just found out white people listen to this show, bitch, and you keep
Do
saying
they?
that. Yes, bitch.
Who?
Anthony's white.
Oh,
Girlfriend
she's
is
good.
white.
I said cracker
She
all
told
the
me
time.
I listened to the show,
See,
and I was like,
she is a white person that
That
happens to be white. She is
Uh-huh.
not a white person.
Okay,
She
yeah.
just happens to be white. She don't count. So Teresa, hey girl. No, she's good. She's good. So last year, they created a legislature program called the Guardian Program that allows districts to arm school staff. So not the ones that are not inside the school, like teaching and being like with the teachers in the classroom.
Right.
I mean, with the students in the classroom. They just have like regular duties. So now this new bill that they passed takes that exception out. So teachers that are actually teaching math, science, art, whatever can have these. And once the bill is enacted, this district can decide whether they want to allow their teachers to actually have it. So what it looks like right now is that many don't want to do it, and 25 of the 67 school districts here in Florida have approved it. So it's less than half, but still, we don't know yet because we're waiting for Ron to actually sign it and for it to go through.
All right.
Now, under the program, the teachers need to pass a 144-hour training course before they can be armed. Employees at the schools, 40 out of the 67 counties have already enrolled or plan to do so. Now, what my issue is, one is, I think it's stupid. We already have a gun problem, so why add more guns into the situation?
Yeah.
And then I read, that was from NPR, and then I read from the New York Times, basically that what's happening outside of the schools with cops and our men of color, so Black and Latinos, is this going to happen now within the classrooms? I don't have a son.
Yeah.
So I have a daughter, and she's a young mixed Black girl. And my thing is that if I were to have a son now in the school, they're a threat. I was yesterday do what I was doing, the grad venture.
Bash,
So I'm with all these middle school kids, and I shit you not, some of these kids are 6'3", 200 pounds. They look like men.
Yeah.
Like grown men. I kept looking at their things to see if they were a student or a
the
chaperone.
hormones in the milk, but yeah.
It might be.
Yeah, that's why y'all feed y'all kids organic, but go ahead. Friend, they won't look like that.
That's why you don't have no kids, because you'd be broke as fuck if you're out here feeding them organic milk, bitch. God knew what he was doing when he made sure you can't have no kids.
Rich nigga, bitch. Go ahead.
You got to. But no, these kids are big, so if they face a threat, now you know those videos that go viral and they're like fighting teachers, and you know they go through the anger issues. And let's talk about an inner city school where kids, they come to school hungry, or they're all these things are happening. So now you're gonna shoot a kid because you feel like your life is threatened. What are the protocols? How can we make it so these teachers aren't used as they're biased, because we're all biased in a certain way.
So what we're asking teachers that went to school to educate our youth and everything like that now to become security guards and motherfucking police officers and basically become soldiers, because that's basically what they're going to have. And these teachers should not be put in that position. We should come up with some type of way to protect our kids and protect and
we
just
have
protect
cops at the school. Exactly. We don't need any more than a cop. A whole SWAT team of kids is not going to come in there with AK-47s. Exactly. It's usually one white kid.
More guns is not the problem. That's such a conservative Republican way to try to fix the issue. Hey, we have gun issues. Let's put more guns in people's hands. I think they'll solve it. It's like, bitch, everybody gonna die at that point. So this shit is stupid. You conservatives sometimes, I think your views is so warped and shit. Y'all think that we still live in the motherfucking 1900s where we gotta go and hunt and shoot food. We don't need motherfucking assault rifles. We need to have better control laws. We definitely do. People are out here crazy.
Right.
So.
There's an African American Democrat from the representative. His name is Chevron Jones. And he tried to pass some amendments. So basically saying that if there's an active shooter in the school and the teacher shoots accidentally thinking that a black or Latino student is the person with the gun, they can't use stand your ground law. So as a defense, because here in Florida, we have so many stand your ground laws. Like, they just shoot you. It's like, oh, I was scared for my life. Boom. Okay, cool. Right. It's self-defense.
That only works for white people, by the way.
Oh, correct. So, which is what he's trying to say. So he's like trying to put an amendment to that's like, okay, let's put it in writing where you can't just say you feared for your life and you shot the first black kid that was running towards you, because they might be running towards you because there's a shooter behind them. They're not running towards you because you should be scared of them. So no, they didn't let that pass. And they took it off. And I'm like, well, what you trying to say? That they can use stand your ground when the teachers start shooting? Basically is what they're saying. So there's all these other amendments that they tried to do to it, and they didn't go through. So we just need to be very careful. Speak to your representatives or superintendents of your school district and see where your school is. I told I know for a fact that if Ayana's school starts having guns in the school, I will move her from that school.
Yeah.
I will not let her.
I don't blame you. You know, only one person, only one entity really profits off this whole thing, right? It's the people that make guns.
Yes, that's it.
That's who's getting richer, right? They have so much money in the government and everything. And that's why ridiculous laws like this are able to pass. Yes, exactly. So guys, wake up, get your ass out there and vote, and make educated fucking votes. Educate yourself before you go out here and fucking voting for these damn Damn, they done lost me. And I'm trying to tell people to be smart, bitch. And I just had a dumb moment. What's the name? These bills and shit, bitch. Yeah, make sure y'all educate yourself on this.
And that all comes from local voting.
Yes.
So the presidential, and I've been telling you guys this for now over a year, the presidential campaign is not the important one. You need to vote in the midterms. You need to vote in the primaries. You need to vote local elections, your judges. These are judges that are passing this stuff. These are governors that are passing this stuff. When y'all didn't want to come around and, vote when we had to vote for a governor, we ended up with DeSantis. Yeah. He's done some things that are okay.
He has done.
So he has, but at the end of the day, I would have rather.
It's still a far right idea. But listen, you guys also need to start watching the local news too. This is where we get a lot of this information from. You won't know about stuff like this from The View or CNN. Right. It's national. So yeah, we have plenty of local news. Anyway, so today, if you're watching this, you're seeing we got somebody in the building. We got a beautiful woman with us today. Look, she was over there all quiet, just holding her laugh. I was like, girl, it's okay. You can laugh. You can laugh. Make sure you stay close up to pull it towards you.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
better. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes,
there you go. Stay right on the mic. So we have Sasha Benjamin in the building with us today.
Yes. What's up, y'all?
So we brought her on to have a fun discussion today. So Sasha, who are you? Tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? Where you come from?
Okay, so my name is Sasha Benjamin. I am currently an escort here based in Orlando, Florida.
Woo! Came out right along with it. Y'all was ready for this?
What's up? Y'all can book me after the show. Y'all really can.
Yes, girl, get your money.
You gotta have that coin though. I'm born and raised in California, so if anyone knows about California culture, hoeing and pimping is the best thing out,
Oh, okay.
So when it came for me wanting a way to make money, not being a 9 to 5, this was the first hustle I thought of. And it's funny because growing up, like when I was in the CPS system, like 16, 17, my biggest fear was being kidnapped by pimps. I don't know why, but so when I got to college, it was like my freshman year. I was going through a bad breakup.
Make sure you're staying right in front of the mic.
Sorry.
There you go.
What
There you go, baby.
Okay. And
You'll forget about it while you're talking.
Look, and so I was going through a bad breakup, and I just wanted to get like my mojo back, and I wanted some coin. I wanted bundles. And so I called my play sister, and I'm like, okay, so how do I get started? So back then, I didn't even know about Backpage, okay? So I posted my first ad on Craigslist, y'all, and I got my first date from Craigslist. So I didn't have a car or nothing. The old white man came to pick me up from school, and that was my first date.
How old were you?
I was 19 and I got $100. But listen, y'all, at 19, that was the first time I ever had $100 of my own money in my. I thought I was rich. You couldn't tell me nothing. So after that,
is college he's picking you up from?
Yes, on campus and everything, and I gave no fucks. Like no fucks were given. He came to pick me up, went back to his house, and took me for Mexican food after, and dropped me off back home.
He could have took me.
Look, I thought I was doing the damn thing. So yeah, it's been like 6 years. So I started out as a prostitute, which is just sex in exchange for money. I got arrested in a sting in 2015, which is why I'm really big on decriminalization. But we'll get into that later. In 2017, I was assaulted for the first time by a client. Well, he was posing as a client, but he didn't end up being a client. And
so how old are you now, Sasha?
I'm 26.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's been 6 years, 7 years. Look, I'm over here trying to do the math. Yeah, 6, 7
so
years.
yeah, Carla and I, we had a question like, how did you get started? So you went ahead and so you put your first ad on Craigslist, okay? Because Backpage, they took Backpage off and everything like that.
Well,
now.
no, yeah, now,
Now
and
it's
so it's interesting because a lot of eyes aren't really on our industry 24/7. Eyes only go on our industry when something happens that affects like everyone. So like when Backpage and Craigslist went down, that's when everyone was like, oh my God, what's going on? And those were because of the laws called FOSTA and SESTA, and they're laws that were put in place to fight human trafficking, but that's not what the laws actually did. So I don't know if I should start talking about FOSTA SESTA. Okay, so FOSTA stands for Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act, and SESTA stands for Stop Enabling a Sex Trafficking Act. Okay. And so
is it a difference between sex trafficking and escorting?
Yes.
Okay,
and
what's
that's
the difference?
The thing. It's like the police, they can't tell the difference from a consensual sex worker, which is someone that's in this industry by choice, like me, and they can't tell the difference between someone that's being coerced or trafficked. And so a lot of these things, they're put in place to catch trafficked victims, but they're only catching a handful of people like me who want to be a sex worker, who are making an honest living. And in general, sex work is not... it's a victimless crime. Yeah. No one's being harmed.
When it's all consensual.
It's all consensual.
So you said you were 19, you just needed some money. So no one was like, oh, your friend was doing it?
Yeah, from back home. Damn near all my friends. I have a play brother who's now my sister because, he's transitioning.
Oh, that's awesome.
My play sister, she started it, and then I had an actual play sister that did it. So literally when it came into my mind, I called those two people. I don't even think they told me about rates or anything. They just said, throw an ad up on Craigslist. I don't even know what pictures I used. I don't know what the word said, but I received heck of emails. Like, Craigslist used to be hitting.
No, Craigslist, isn't that gone now?
It's gone. Page? It's gone. I know sections of Reddit are gone, and I know people used to find...
What's that one?
Reddit. But Reddit has a whole bunch of sub, groups, but one of them, clients could actually go on and find providers. Okay. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Redbook as well. So Redbook was booming back in the day in the Bay Area. So that was the back page.
Okay. It was online as well?
Yeah. So online stuff literally keeps people safe because you're not forced into the streets. So when SESTA and FOSTA came about, that basically targets these online platforms and makes them liable for soliciting prosecution. And so I believe, like I said, it's titled Sex Trafficking Acts, but all it does is it pushes sex traffic victims more underground, because if they can't post online, where the hell are you going to find them?
Right.
The
And
streets.
so exactly, and you don't know exactly where to look, especially being a police officer. If you can't even pinpoint who wants to be here by choice and who's actually sex trafficked, there's no way that you can make laws to help us. And another thing is, they never invite us to the table when these conversations are being had about the laws. So it's literally people that have never set foot into this lifestyle trying to
White
dictate.
old men.
Exactly. And they be the main
Main
ones calling my
clients.
phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
they're like putting the bill down, signing it, and then calling you to come over.
no, literally, and it's really bad in DC.
Have you had politicians?
I have. Now, I've never actually toured in DC. I'm hoping to go there June 2nd for National Horrors Day.
Wait, when is this?
National Horrors Day, which is basically a sex workers holiday,
Yeah.
that's June 2nd.
So y'all don't work that day, or do you
No,
work
we do,
overtime?
but not even overtime, but it's basically like Pride.
Yeah.
But it's for sex workers. So we all come together and just turn up with our red umbrellas and our sex worker shirts
That's
and
what's
just
up.
be proud to be sex workers.
So Amber Rose does something called the slut
Slut
walk.
Rock.
Okay, so it's a slut walk. Is it's basically about women empowerment and stuff like that. Do you feel like escorts and women
Do
are?
you feel like slut walk? Are you guys
How do
under
you
that
feel about
umbrella?
the
'Cause
slut
I don't,
walk?
I don't
And
like
do you
the slut
think
walk.
it does it include? Is it a voice for you?
So I actually was doing research on the Women's March, because I've never actually I haven't participated yet, and it seems to me like the Women's March, correct me if I'm wrong, it was started by rich churchy white people,
Correct.
and so a lot of organizations, they don't include sex workers because of like hierarchy. So we're considered like the bottom of the barrel. Like, ew.
Right.
Like, yeah, we're women, and yes, we're fighting for women's rights, but we're not fighting for rights of sex workers because they're inhuman.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think once people respect that sex work is work and we deserve equal rights, then only then can we open the conversation and have the discussion on, lawmakers and inclusion. Because
Okay, you just said something that's actually, you said equal rights.
yes.
So I want to ask you real quick, because there's a big difference between decriminalizing and legalizing
Yes,
sex
let's
work.
get on topic, girl. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about
Because
it.
you just said equal rights. I'm like, all right, well, we might as well just go straight into it, because you are pro what? Decriminalizing or legalizing?
Decriminalization.
What's the difference between?
That's the thing, because say if I wasn't a sex worker, I wouldn't even know what the hell decriminalization means.
Right.
All I know is legal, illegal.
Right.
So when it comes to sex work, I'm gonna break it down, because as of now we're in the stage of criminalization, then there's legalization, and then there's decriminalization, which is what we want, and it's on my shirt. So as of now, in the stage that it's criminalized, you are basically arresting innocent people. You're giving them charges on their record. So say if someone entered sex work wanting to transition out, it makes it harder for them to do that because they have a record. Like me, I have a record now.
What did you get charged with?
I want to say procure to prostitution. I ended up having to hire a lawyer, which is crazy because I went on that date. It was some holiday, and I'm like, I'm gonna drive down here and meet this man because he wanted to give me $500 for an hour. That's the most I made back in Backpage days. So I'm like, ooh, $500 an hour. Let me go down there and make this money. I had planned to go pick my friends up. We were supposed to go to City Walk, and I didn't make it to City Walk because I got arrested, and they had the cameras there and everything.
Oh, so it was like a sting operation.
No, it was legitimately a sting. And the Asian lady, I think she'd be on MSNBC, that does like the documentaries and stuff, and she sits there and asks you all these questions.
Right.
So based off the questions they were asking, you could tell that they were following a storyline of looking for victims and people that were pimped and didn't want to be there. Me, I'm happy. I'm just like, listen, I got into it by myself. I've never been harmed. My clients are great. They weren't feeling my storyline. And out of all the people they arrested, I believe it was like 72, not one traffic victim. And it's like, you have to think all the money that goes into these stings.
And who are you saving?
Nobody.
And who's paying for them? We are, the taxpayers.
Nobody. Okay, so another thing. Another thing that I think brought a lot of public attention was Robert's Kraft and his high-profile hand job. So
Wait, it was just a hand job?
It was just a
He
hand
didn't even
job.
get dick suck, or he didn't fuck nothing?
That's what I heard. It was just a hand job. So I'm calling it the high-profile hand job. That was an expensive hand job. So it's crazy because a lot of people that work in massage parlors are immigrants and undocumented workers and people that literally can't be employed anywhere else. So now you claim to be rescuing these people. I believe we're at 15 women that got arrested. They're all now in jail. I'm sure they can't afford bonds, and they all have felony charges now. So if your goal was to rescue sex trafficked people, which just last week they said none of them were sex trafficked, nor do they have evidence of that, you literally just made these people's life worse. They
can't get a job now.
They can't do shit.
That is a big a big business in Asia. The sex trafficking, bringing women over here being sex trafficked. So that is a big thing, but that doesn't have anything to do with women like you per se, who are so open about wanting to be a sex worker.
And that's the thing. No sex worker, we care about the trafficked people, but it's like for you to actually find them, law enforcement needs to partner up with sex workers, because sex workers can tell you exactly, but being that it's criminalized, we can't come out and be like, hey. I was, at Lil Jon house and he got Sarah in the closet. Well, what were you doing there? So actually,
I was dropping off a pizza, girl.
You know what I'm saying? So actually, when I was assaulted in 2017, as crazy as it was, I was strangled and robbed. Literally, man tried to kill me, but I'm like, I just graduated college last week. You ain't about to. I can't go out like this.
Where'd you find him?
He found me via Backpage. And so this was before I had a website. This was before I was an escort. I was just strictly a prostitute. You come in, you pay me, you get out. So
he came to you?
Yeah, he came to me. This was in Gainesville. I made my first $1,000 in like less than 12 hours in Gainesville. So I used to go all the time because that was my city. And, once the assault happened, I stopped going. I still suffer PTSD from that, because it was like for the longest, I felt like clients were just the sweetest people. I was open, and I didn't think that someone would harm me for no reason. And so just with my story, a lot of people seek out sex workers for assault and rape and worse, because they know that what we're doing is illegal. And so a lot of people will seek us out knowing that we can't go to law enforcement, and we're literally easy targets. And that's what he did. So it was me and I believe 3 other girls that he did attack. I don't think mine was the worst, but he was charged. So ever since June 2017, he's been in jail. And then just this past January, I received notice that he did get charged. So he's sitting in jail.
That's good.
So I'm excited. Yeah, because you know what? A lot of people are afraid. And I've heard of stories where people go report it to police and they go to jail. So
exactly. So that stops. We can't get
so
these
you
people
get
off.
assaulted by someone who's out
seriously.
here soliciting what you're giving, and you still get arrested for
that
it?
happened.
That's crazy.
So I didn't know if I was going to be arrested. So when I first called the cops, I'm calling the cops because I'm scared, I'm hurt, I'm traumatized. Like, I couldn't imagine not calling the police, because I'm like, I can't beat his ass. I don't know where he lives. Something is going to happen. And so just out of that push, I called the police. And originally, I lied about the story because I was afraid to tell them I'm a prostitute, he was a John, and I was assaulted. So originally, I think I had some crazy whirlwind story that I met him at the club, and I was in Gainesville for other reasons. And I ended up just coming clean to the police, because I'm like, if I lie about this, I feel like they're not going to trust me on the rest of the details. And thankfully for that specific investigator, he told me it doesn't matter what you were doing, you're still a victim. But not all law enforcement thinks like that, and I wish they would.
That's good cops, bad cops.
So are you dating, or are you currently in a relationship?
I'm not in a relationship. My standards are too high because my clients treat me like royalty. And so what I always get are men that need saving, right? So I usually make the most, and I usually have these standards that these old white men have made me accustomed to. So when it comes to trying to date guys my age, and they can't do a first date at like Ocean Air, Ocean Prime Roof Chris or something, and they don't want to do trips, I'm just turned off. So it's like I have the mindset I don't need a man. Would I want one? Hell yeah. Like, I want my tires changed. Like, I want light bulbs changed. But until I feel like someone comes along that meets my standards, I'm good with self-loving and not dealing with the bullshit.
So I have a lot of friends, a lot of female friends, and sometimes when they have that mentality of like, listen, if a man can do everything, I only need a man for what he can do for me. That's it. So they start looking at love as a transactional type thing, right? And I don't think that love should be transactional, right? I think it should be like a collective thing. So do you know any sex workers that have had successful relationships, and how do the boyfriend deal with that?
You know what? So me being from California, I think that's the only view I have of successful relationships while being a sex worker, because it's so popular there. And so in California, it's like men can date an escort or a prostitute and not think it's business and is business and personal is personal. So they're able to separate the two. But I think the biggest problem is men, they can't, whoever you're dating, they don't understand and they can't separate business from pleasure. Like, I'm literally able to have a client and that's all it is. I'm not thinking about him when he leaves. Most of the time they're unattractive anyway. For me, my work is difficult when they're attractive because, like, I don't want you to go. Come stay in the night. You know what I'm saying?
So how do you deal with someone who's unattractive? So when I first saw your page, my friend and I were looking at it and we're like, you're the perfect view. And now that you said old white men, you are like,
that's my clientele.
You look like the black girl that white men like. Your shape, your color, your face, like, you have the features.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to date someone outside of a
nigga,
John, would you date a
nigga? But see, this the thing, okay? Because I'm so used to work now. Like Sasha, I feel like Sasha's in my mind 24/7 when it comes to just hustling. I can be at the gas station, Publix. If a dude looking at me, I'm thinking, I wonder what he can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I always say if I were to end up married, I'd want it to be to like a black king. That's what I relate to.
Yeah.
I mean,
have you found in 26 years a person that's okay within this last 7 years? I should say someone that you've been able to date that's okay with your sex work.
I have, but they're never up to par. Like, they don't be having no car, no money. So I be the breadwinner.
Oh,
that's
of course
they
don't give a shit about you being a sex worker. You're taking care of them.
Yeah, and even then, I'm not even taking care of them because I've actually been through the phase before where I wasn't even top-notch escort how I was. I was at the bottom of the barrel too, and I'm still, making sure you're good. But my thing is, I realize, like, a lot of men, they won't deal with you when you're at the bottom. So it's like, why should I support someone when they're at the bottom? I feel like I have these things. My partner needs to have that as well because,
Is there you said bottom of the barrel. What's the hierarchy with sex workers?
Okay, so it's a term called hierarchy, which is like patriarchy, but
teach me, girl.
Look,
hierarchy. Let's see where we fall in this bitch. Let's see where we fall.
And so it's like I don't believe in the hierarchy, and I don't like being classist when even referring to myself because I have worked at all levels. But I mean, so first off, sex worker is an umbrella. So that is a stripper, cam girl, anything where the end result is creating an erotic, feel-good feeling in the client.
Yeah.
So webcam.
A sugar baby, too. A sugar baby is a freaking sex worker.
Yeah.
And so, like, within hierarchy, you get a lot of sugar babies that just won't even admit that this man is paying for sex. Bitch, they're not paying just because you look good, bitch. They want them draws too, but they can afford more than just your draws. Like, they could possibly pay your rent. They could possibly buy you a new car, but at the end of the day, he's not paying you within mind that he's not going to fuck you. You know what I'm saying?
So that is at the bottom of the
No, the bottom of the hierarchy, I think it would start with the actual streetwalkers because, streetwalkers. And then I believe it would go up to, the in-house prostitutes. So prostitutes.
What's the in-house? Like a brothel?
No, it could be a brothel or like an in-car hotel or working online, but a prostitute.
Okay.
So then you got the people that's on the streets, and then you have like the prostitutes, the in-call workers, the brothel workers, and then at the top, quote-unquote, would be more of like your high-end elite, quote-unquote, escorts. And
so what's the difference between an escort and you're in the world of sex work? Because I thought a prostitute and an escort are the same thing, just two different words.
I mean, so does law enforcement, and they also think that sex traffic victims are the same as well.
Right. So what's the difference between a prostitute? Now you're gonna teach me something. And an escort.
Okay, so a prostitute is literally I'm giving sex in exchange for money. So I'm about to come over for an hour. You about to give me $300, and we already know what's going down. So as an escort, it's literally however many adults are involved, it's consensual, and I'm being paid for my time. So, like, as of now, I don't even like getting emails that are super sexually explicit with, like, a checklist. Do you do this? Do you do BBBJ, anal, Greek, whatever the hell?
Anal Greek?
Yeah, well, same shit.
What does that mean?
Anal, anal, they call it Greek. You guys haven't heard of that term?
No, Greek. What's
No.
Greek?
So Greek means
Greek
anal?
means anal.
I know the Greeks like to fuck in the ass and stuff like
They
that.
Wow.
Yeah, they do.
Don't tell me that's not like a public Get the
No,
fuck out
I didn't
here.
know
Well,
anything
Yeah,
about
so
that.
Greek
I don't
means
fuck with my
anal.
ass like that. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into it. There's a lot
Yes,
of money on that side, but I don't like it yet.
Oh, you don't use the back door yet?
Not. I've done it.
I saw that you
personally.
pegged. I saw that you pegged.
I
didn't
love fucking men in the ass. That's a
Yes.
whole other. I love that shit. So that would
So,
be like
I'm
fetish.
gonna ask you about that later.
I love
want
it.
you to explain the term
yeah.
to me because when I was seeing your YouTube, you have something that you mentor other girls that are trying to get into this and everything like that, and you use a term called freestyling, right? Explain to me what freestyling is.
What bitches be doing out here every day?
Yeah, like that's what I'm like. Okay, so freestyling is you're going out with the mindset that you are trying to find a new client or a new pot, and pot is a sugar bowl term, sugar bowl, sugar baby, and pot means potential daddy.
Okay.
And so when I freestyle, potential daddy, a pot.
Okay.
So I'm going out to establishments where I know that higher caliber men, like my type of daddies, are gonna be. I look real fly, and I go sit. I either go by myself or another person. I always suggest never a group bigger than two, because you don't want to intimidate the daddies. You
I
trying
try
to
to tell
reel them
these
in.
girls.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Don't no big group, and look presentable. Your hair needs to be done. Your makeup needs to be done. Look like you are money, and you will attract money. Act like your money. You're gonna bring it to you, and you sit at a bar, you can literally freestyle anywhere, and you just make conversation. Now, some escorts or whatever, they'll go and freestyle to find a client for right then and there. I haven't mastered that yet. So what I do when I go out, I'm going out and I'm meeting daddies and setting up future dates. Like, I also have business cards, and I have like a cover-up job, and it's like I'm a dating/life coach. My name's Amber Ann.
I saw that.
Yes, Amber
Oh,
Ann.
Amber Ann.
I have a whole new telephone number, email address, yes, and I will hook you up. And so I pass that out, and they're able to connect with me, and I'll set up like just a regular date, or I'll see what they're about and set up an escort date for later in the week.
Gotcha.
So it's a great thing.
So freestyle is basically just going to find someone in a bar
Yeah, out
by
in
yourself.
public.
It's not necessarily for
public.
sex though. It's freestyling, going out to get a. What do you guys call
See,
them?
it
Johns?
depends. Yeah, Johns, tricks, clients.
So you're going out to find a trick.
Yeah,
Freestyling.
but it really depends, because like me, like I said, I'm not going out to look for immediate funds when I'm freestyling.
Yeah.
If it falls in my lap, I'm not gonna decline it. And then some girls, like some people literally do. They go out in minds like, whatever guy I meet, I want a date with him like right now. Versus me, I just postpone it because I don't even know what to say half the time.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, how do you come into this agreement? Do you say like, hey, he come and he flirt with you and everything? It's like, hey, my name is Sasha and
It's
everything.
about
But just to let you know, this is my rate and everything. Like, I'm a woman of the night.
look.
Here go my card.
Bitch, you done this before?
Right, woman of the night.
Look, my
on Halloween.
first business card, I called myself the woman of the night because I was Googling other terms that I could call myself versus like a prostitute or an escort. Woman of the night was on Google. You know a little something.
Yeah,
I
didn't-
got a lot of female friends that are just about this shit. So
Well,
yeah.
First of all, you're
Yeah.
telling their business. Now you're like, I got lots of stuff. These bitches out here, getting it.
That is funny. Okay, so it's really about how you say everything, because a lot of these men be down. Now, it's some men that are legitimate sugar daddies, but if you call them a sugar daddy,
They got a problem.
they're offended. But it's like, okay. So for me,
Call it what you want, but let me get that money.
period. Look, I'm skilled in that department, okay? So when it comes to freestyling and getting what you want, it's all a facade. You're basically an actor. So figure out who the hell you want to be for that night. Are you a teacher? I mean, are you a dancer? What do you do?
Whatever fantasy you
You
can sell.
feel me?
You can
Yeah.
sell. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So for the most part, I go sit at a bar, and like I said, I'm a white man magnet. So
Yeah.
when I'm walking in heels and stuff, people are already looking. So the thing is, though, the trick that I tell everyone, don't go in that motherfucker sitting down and looking
around.
all over the place. No, it's going to come to you. So just act casual.
You did
Right.
say
Can
in
I-
one of your videos, you command attention. You
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
beautiful. You are
Yeah.
dark skin. You're
Yeah.
5'10",
I
and you
love
walk in
it.
there with high heels.
Yeah.
So you are an
I
Amazon.
love-
I just really want to point this out. What she's giving you is skills on how to find a man, period. You can learn a lot
Oh,
from a
yeah.
sex worker, right?
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
not about going and finding and making a transaction, right? You women ask all the time, like, hey, how do I find someone? I have a hard
Yeah.
time dating. We did an episode with a girl.
And what's funny is that what
didn't-
she's saying
Yeah.
is exactly what you were saying.
It's-
I don't like
I
the
told-
going alone. I mean, I have gone to bars alone, and it's cool because I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But to find a guy, I'm like, I would go alone, but some people just aren't confident enough. Bring one girlfriend. You were like, go
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Never more than one.
Never more
Never.
than one.
Never more than
Never
one.
more than
But
one.
this is the
Intimidates
same way
guys.
to find a guy, but you're doing it once the guy comes up to you. I think your question is, how do you let them know So you gotta pay.
Conversation. So they might come up to me or they'll sit down and I can tell like they're nervous to talk. I'll probably start the conversation. Oh, do you come here all the time?
Yeah.
What are you drinking? Should I get that? Okay, I think I'm gonna drink that. And so they're laughing, and it's just light conversation.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask them, what they do. What are you doing here? Okay, are you traveling?
Mhm.
Okay, so what are you traveling for? Business? Okay, you're with your family. Okay.
Mhm.
How long are you here for? And just based off like how that conversation goes, you can kind of figure out if they trying to do a little something.
And the
now.
men already know they can get a sense for it and everything like that because they do this before, so they know how to approach. They know how the conversation goes, and you can get a feel for it.
And the more confident that you are, and the more normal you make it seem, you make them comfortable. Because some dudes are like I attract certain guys that are too nervous to even speak to me in person.
Yeah.
And I know that. And so I just try to always just be easy, carefree, blah, 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 and let them know I am down with the swirl, for a slight fee,
Yeah.
know?
If the price is right.
When do you know that they're ready and willing to pay for it?
So
at what point it clicks on you like, oh, he's going to give me the money?
So like, first off, I'll ask them what they do. So if they say they're a teacher, I'm probably just thinking, okay, he probably can't. He's not trying to do Dom Perignon, all the time, or certain nice restaurants or trips.
Mm-hmm.
But if he says he's like a CEO or he travels a lot for work, it's like, okay, light bulb.
Yeah.
And then
Company credit card.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, okay, like what do you like to do for fun? Or, I would love to meet you again, or, I like your watch. And you just very
I like your watch.
Yeah, like very flirtatious. And so one thing I learned, a lot of men with money, they're very solemn in how they dress. And so they're not in the loud stuff. And so they might have a nice Rolex. But if you don't know what a Rolex look like, you might think this man is broke. So I'm looking at the Rolex, even the kind of car.
You're looking for a Hublot.
I
tell everyone, look at men's teeth, their watch, and their shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of that, they can be wearing a regular ass $5 white tee with some Levi's, but they'll have nice shoes and they'll always have a nice watch. A man with money, like wealth, will always have a nice watch. And it's not always a Rolex. You'll have a Hublot or something like that. You need to know about watches to find a good man.
I'm broke, bitch, because I'm still wearing.
You find a nigga with gas like that one.
The battery don't work no more, bitch.
Listen, when you tell me the battery don't work on your shit,
broke as shit, bitches.
We ain't even know though. No, it's good.
Real niggas don't care about that.
So, okay,
you pull up in the
so
Benz.
one question that I'll usually ask to determine, okay, if they're about that life now or later, okay, so what are you doing after this? Do you have any plans afterwards?
Okay.
And based off their response, or it could be, they'll probably respond if they're ready now or like tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was hoping I could maybe hang with you or we could do a little something after. Oh, okay. Well, where are you staying? Blah, blah, blah. Well, usually, it costs a little bit for my time if you don't mind. So you kind of just have to word it because at the same time,
I like that, ladies.
Or
it costs a little bit for my time.
there's
if you don't
another
mind.
someone else suggested there was another saying where if you're freestyling at a hotel and they're staying there and you guys are having conversation and it gets to that point, you can say it'll be $500 for me to come up to your room. Because even then, you're not insinuating that I'm coming up there for sex. That's just saying if you want me in your room, it's $500 just for me to come up there.
Yeah.
And usually men that are out that do this, it probably won't be their
They
first
know.
time. And if
No,
it's their
they
first time, they're willing to pay whatever it is because they want it and they want to try it.
Especially if they're talking to you in person, it's actually a lot easier to get more in person because you're there, they're horny as fuck, and they ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So they ready
Men
to
don't
pay
like
the
to
top
wait.
dollar.
They don't like to wait.
So do you get known by like the bartenders at different hotels? Because I feel like bartenders, when I worked as a bartender, I knew
They
the girls.
know.
I knew
They
the
know.
girls.
They do know.
They know. Yeah, and
The ones that ask for water and they stay there for a little while, or one drink
I
and
be
that drink
drinking.
lasts forever.
I be drinking. Okay, I be getting lit. But yeah, so I haven't been noticed by a bartender yet because I try to spread it out when I go. I don't like going to the same place all the time. But it is very important to get to know your bartenders by name and create a relationship with them because it's important when you go into places and they know you by first name and it's all these established gentlemen. They want to know, oh, well, who is that? And so establishing relationships in this industry is very important, and networking.
And not even just in this industry, you guys. Like,
Yeah,
we're not
any
trying to
industry.
teach you how to be horse. Now, if you want to
Yeah.
be horse, you can be,
Yeah.
excuse me, no
Be a
offense.
paid
Be a
whore.
paid
Is
hoe.
whore like? Do you get offended when
by
someone
whores?
calls you a whore?
I call myself a hoe, but
Yeah.
I HEUX because I'm a paid hoe.
Hoe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a hoe. I'm paid.
I'm a
So
paid
since,
one.
since we're talking about money, how much money do you think, like, what's the most money you made in a year? Like,
Ooh, I wish I motherfucking knew. Look,
In a month.
or in a month? Let's break it down. Yeah.
What's the average? What's the average a week?
Or the most you
Ooh.
made in a week or something like that.
I think the most I made in a week was between 15 and 20K.
Mhm.
And
Oh.
that's because I had one client that pretty much gave me 10. So
Mhm.
like right now I have a sugar daddy. I do it all. And so I have a sugar daddy and I want like 2 or 3 more of him or just one well. And so well is like, I think like the top 1%. So he could cover all your bills, get you a new crib, a car, all that. And
Right.
he's still just giving.
Have
I
you
want
seen,
a well.
Have you seen Pose, the TV show Pose?
Not yet.
About okay.
Not
so
yet.
basically, trans women are
Okay.
sex workers and
Oh,
everything, as we
yeah.
know, right?
Mhm.
And on the show Pose, one of the characters, she was taking care of by the top 1%. He had his whole family and everything like that, but
I'm trying to
he
get
was
there.
he was, basically, trans women have something that's so special and so rare
Mhm.
that these men are attracted to, and they will
Oh,
spend
yeah.
a lot of money.
That is such
Oh,
a
yeah.
dumb question. I'm sorry. Somebody just asked, are bartenders sex workers?
Anybody's a
So-
sex worker.
like,
So tell me,
What?
how does
Fuck.
that? So with the trans, tell me about the trans woman and being in sex work.
Great. Okay, so first off, sex work started by being a industry where marginalized people could come to and make money fast. So we're talking
Yes.
about trans people, people of color, immigrants, what have you, people that can't just go in and apply for a 9 to 5 and get that money that they need right away.
Right.
So this industry started for marginalized people, and the screwed up part is when these laws are made, it affects them the most, and
Yeah.
they are the ones whose voices are silenced the most.
Mhm.
And so, okay, back to criminalization. I be getting off topic
Actually,
with y'all.
yes.
Look.
So we do that all the time. They do criminalize it. So
Yeah.
talking about that now,
Yeah.
you guys get the record. You can't go to work now. Legalizing it would put laws in place where you're saying you want to you want to be equal, you want to like be in an equal playing field. You're working. So when I'm thinking, okay, if you want to sell your body, that's your business.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that.
That's
but
how I
now,
feel.
when you say decriminalizing, just you get to make your honest living, you're not paying taxes.
No, decriminalization, when you decriminalize, you are paying taxes because that literally makes our job a legal career. And so we would be able to file taxes under whatever the heck it would be.
So at 1099, you got your own business, and this is what
Yeah,
I do.
because right now, if you are an escort, you can't file taxes as
Yeah.
an escort. You have to file as an independent contractor.
Okay.
And so through that, like, I mean, it's probably illegal, whatever, but you have to do like a LLC and all that and pay yourself to even pay taxes.
That was gonna be my question. Because how do you have to show income in order to buy a car, to buy a house, and all this other
There's
stuff?
all type of
so-
ways. Listen, I am a city girl at heart. So you can either do where you create your own LLC and you're paying yourself and you file taxes under independent contractor,
Mhm.
which is what a lot of providers do if you do want to be legal.
Yeah.
Or I mean, look,
So you guys are
people
trying
do
to be
pay
you're
stubs.
trying to be legal, but it's making the system is set up so it's so difficult for you guys
can't,
to even
'cause
do.
it's criminalized. So another thing when it's criminalized, like say how I was saying, even if you're a victim in the crime, a lot of prostitutes are afraid to go to law enforcement. And in law enforcement, sexual assault is the second most common form of police brutality. So it's literally a lot of prostitutes that get picked up by cops. And they're like, either you get these handcuffs or you about to lick my ass.
Oh,
Which one is it?
Jesus.
So yeah, so it's a lot of escorts that have been in those situations. Then, like the Robert Kraft case,
Mhm.
a lot of police in certain states can have sex with an escort to build a fucking case. That's
Wow.
rape. That's fucked
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
That's not consensual.
Wait. The cop can actually
Can
go
have
through.
sex. No, like dead ass have sex. They can get their dick touched, licked on, sucked. Then that.
Where is this act? I thought it was just supposed to say once you do the
it's
talk
certain
about the
states.
money.
Nah, fuck that. It's literally certain states, and the stories are so fucked up, I can't even fathom.
Right.
But it's an undercover cop, and to build their case, they're literally having full-blown intercourse with these escorts. Now, the other fucked up part is this shit's being recorded. So now I'm raped and all your
Recorded for
cop
it?
fat-ass friends with donuts are watching me get my shit banged for free because I'm not even getting paid. Instead, I'm getting charges and handcuffs, and
And
it's
he's
fucked
getting
up.
praised and he's getting
He's
erased.
That
getting
has been that
praised.
way since the
Yeah, but
beginning
it's
of time. It's so
disturbing
crazy. It is
because
very disturbing.
that's not even real. Like what?
Police work,
What
right?
kind of police work is that? That's some bullshit.
Since we're talking about sex, what's the freakiest thing that a client has asked you to do? The most outrageous thing? And
I get so much crazy shit. Okay, I actually forgot. Okay,
The freakiest that you haven't done, and then we'll do the freakiest that you have done.
the freakiest that I haven't done. I'm a freak personally. So I don't think there's anything that I haven't done. Okay, what I haven't done that I really want to try is this stuff called fuck licking. This is my first time ever announcing this. This is all in my mind, like at home and I'm watching porn on my vibrator. Okay, it's called fuck licking.
Okay.
So basically, it's like a guy is fucking me, and then like, and it has to be two dudes. Like I just like that shit. And so like I'm being fucked, and then there's a guy at the bottom who's like licking the guy's like dick and balls.
Girl,
and, like,
I just saw
coochie at the
porn
same
like
time.
that. Yes, it's going around on Twitter.
I type that shit in when I'm trying to figure out some shit. Nigga. I'm like, nasty
Yes,
ass
bitch.
bitch.
I can't do that shit.
but-
So, because the
but-
pussy's involved.
but-
You
But
ever
it's
get
just-
two people? You've had two men paid?
Couples. No, not two men. I get couples. So I actually
Okay.
wrote a blog on like my first set of couples, and that was the first time I ate cat as an adult. That shit's lit. I want to do it
She talked
again.
just like me. Ate cat.
Yeah, like I ate cat, and it was so clean. It would taste like water, girl. I was like, it was amazing. You would never eat vagina. You gotta live, girl. You gotta live.
I told her this. I just tell her keep opening and closing your eyes. She was talking about some shit she won't do and stuff. But friend,
I think
I-
a woman's body is beautiful, and if I'm watching a porn, I'll love a woman's body. I love the strip club. I
Me
love
too.
watching them.
I love it.
But I'm watching them
I
as
love
to like
ass.
what I would love to look like. I think it's beautiful. I don't get turned on by it. Like I've been to a strip club and the girls dancing all
love
over me
that
like
shit.
naked, but it doesn't
Oh my
do
God.
anything for me.
But you
Yeah,
know
don't do
what's
that for me
crazy?
either.
Because technically, I don't know if I'd be considered bisexual, but like I love like stud girls, like with the dreads and the gold. I like them real South Florida looking, you know? And like I'm really into that. But as far as like personal dating, I've never actually had like a girlfriend. But I think women are beautiful.
I don't think you have to have a girlfriend in order to be considered bisexual.
Yeah, but I'm totally open to it. And if more couples want to book me, comment.
Hello.
Yeah, you
I love
said-
it.
So
I love
question,
it.
you're so open about it, and you have a YouTube channel, you have a blog, it's on your Instagram. So literally,
literally.
The way that I found her, the
Yeah.
way that I find most of my guests, I'll go on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I'll say, I'm looking for this. And I literally I want to talk about decriminalizing and legalizing of sex work, and I'm looking for a sex
Literally.
worker.
And
Yeah.
all that's in my bio when you say it. I
And
was like,
somebody
what?
forwards me your
Yeah.
page, and they're like, I think this would be perfect. And I'm like, ain't no fucking way.
Yeah.
This motherfucker's out here,
Yeah.
like on her bio. And literally, it's on your bio. So,
Escort, sugar baby, boss
so
babe, period.
can you not get caught? Like, you can't get in trouble for that? You're
My
putting
thing
yourself
is-
out there when it's not legal. So can they sting you? Is it easier
They
for
could
them?
try. I mean, but it's like my one and only arrest was in 2015. I done bossed up so much. So, and for a client to even see me, they have to go through screening. So you're either sending your ID photo, you're either sending references, which a reference is basically they're giving me names of providers that they've previously seen, and I contact those providers to be like, is this dude safe? Like, did you see him?
I mean, that's
Blah, blah,
easy
blah.
to fake. I can
Not
give,
really.
A cop can have they make them IDs real quick with stuff, and then they can give you the name of another cop, and she'll pretend like she's a provider.
That's the thing, though. I super look into that. Like, you can make a fake ID, but there's not going to be no history of this John Smith that you just made up 2 minutes ago. And another thing, when it comes to providers have history. So if you give me a name of Sarah McKinley, Sarah don't got no website, Sarah has no social media, there's no way for me to look Sarah up.
Yeah.
Sarah don't exist to me. So, and even then, for me, I only accept references from reputable providers. You have to have an email address, a website. Like me, my history is far out. You can literally Google my number. Hella stuff pops up on me.
So you can't get arrested for having all your stuff so public.
I probably could. I feel like, look, I'm not that rich or anything like that. I feel like they have bigger fish to fry, and I have bigger concerns too. I'm not concerned. I've been arrested before. I ain't afraid to go back.
So you because you have a mentor program and everything. Explain that to explain that to me.
So basically, it was something I never even thought about doing because I have no patience. But for me, posting my stuff, I would get so many people interested in what I was doing that I didn't even know that a lot of people didn't even know about my industry. And so I started mentoring last month, and I think it's like 3 different ways that you can get in contact with me, and I can teach you everything that I know. So one, you could do the one-on-one mentoring where you basically have access to me for like a full 7 days, and you can ask me whatever questions you have in mind and pick my brain.
Yeah.
And then I have a membership-only vault where I upload content there where only members have access to that. And then I do it like a la carte with classes. So like I think the class I have in my vault now is how to screen clients. And so that was actually a requested class because a lot of providers don't know how to screen their clients. So it's a lot to it. But, okay, because I keep getting off topic with why we want decriminalization. Okay.
Go ahead, tell me.
Okay, so we want decriminalization over legalization. For one, when you decriminalize prostitution, it takes away the criminal penalties of us being a prostitute, and that is the actual problem. So when you take away those penalties, we will be able to work with outside entities and law enforcement as far as finding people who are actually human trafficked. We'd be able to have accountable bosses and worker rights and things like that. And there will no longer be like a division between us and law enforcement because right now the biggest problem isn't us or our clients. The biggest problem is the government and the laws that's literally making it
difficult and making it unsafe.
Now, people ask about legalization. So when you legalize prostitution, which it's legalized in UK and France, and actually prostitution is decriminalized in, I can't think of the name. It starts with is it the Netherlands? Let me not lie. It's somewhere overseas. Yeah, it's decriminalized in the Netherlands. And it's legalized like in Nevada.
It's actually legalized in the Netherlands, but I've heard reports that they're saying that it hasn't stopped the violence, and so there's pros and cons on both sides.
Yeah,
and they're saying with legalization that the government has, they can regulate for you. You have to get tested. You have to
have. It makes them our pimps. It makes the government our pimps.
Correct, but we're being pimped. Like now, if I'm looking at it as when I was an accountant, I'm being regulated by the government.
We all
taxis. Everybody's being regulated by the government. So it's like, shouldn't you say, I want to be equal as everybody else? I have to get regulated by the government as well.
No, but let me explain. So when you legalize prostitution, this is what happens. It creates a 2-tier system to where only privileged workers can afford to be legal. Now, when it's also legalized, it's only legal in the smallest of terms. So like, I believe in the Netherlands in like UK or France, the laws there, it's like, it's legal if you work by yourself inside. Now, it's illegal if you're walking the streets or you're working with more than one person. So it's a thin line between what's legal and what's illegal. And on top of all of the state fees and the testing and the licensing, if you're a marginalized worker already struggling and that's why you're a sex worker, you're not worried about fucking paying the goddamn state and shit like that. So you're literally going to stay in a legal prostitute and your ass is going right back to jail.
But that's kind of like a realtor. You have to pay for your license.
I have to pay for my license. Yeah, it's classes and stuff I have to do. I have to keep up education.
And
sometimes
people are coming from nothing. I don't have any money. They want to become a realtor, but they still have to somehow come up. So it's like you're going to have to come up with the money somehow. Whether it's illegal, like there's drug dealers that sell the drugs and they go into the legal business. So maybe for some time you might have to do some illegal sex work. But then it's like, come and pay that fee. That fee will help you at some point.
To an extent.
Right.
So, like to an extent. But for the most part, it would be an unjust and unfair system. So the best route would be to decriminalize, which literally...
Maybe start with decriminalizing and then figure out how to put laws into it.
Yeah, like the laws is not an issue. The laws, when it comes to like making it legal, it's literally the thin line, and it's like the poor stay poor, the rich stay rich. And so it's like the people that are at the bottom of the barrel are never taken into accountability when you're making prostitution legal. All they're worried about is, okay, we're making it legal. How can these people pay to be legal? Versus, okay, well, what about the people that's at the bottom to where they're literally doing this for survival sex work. They're going to stay survival sex workers, and they're not. It's going to be.
What can people do right now to help with the decriminalization of? Because I know you guys go to the city hall and do all that stuff. So how can they help now?
What you can do is you can get in contact with swap.org.usa, which I am a sex worker advocate with SWAP, and that's Sex Workers Outreach Project, and we have chapters all over the U.S. And I mean, that's one way where you can donate. But another thing is just to be allies of sex workers. I think it literally starts at home, from stigma and shame and these laws, to where certain conversations like these, it's like you have to whisper about it. You can't talk about it. And once
does your family know what you do?
Oh, yeah. I just had a conversation with my mom yesterday because I was telling her about this podcast. And she's like, oh, my God, blah, blah, blah.
How did she feel about it?
Even if she didn't like it, she really doesn't care. She really doesn't care. Yeah, and I'm grown.
Yeah.
And I'm a rebel at heart. Like, if I wasn't a rebel, I would still be in California. I wouldn't even be in Florida.
So how does she talk about it? Does she tell people what you do? Does she lie about, my daughter does this? Does she lie about what you do?
No, actually, okay, so when I got arrested in 2015, her and my dad were the ones that bailed me out. So they found out then what I did. But then I went back to working 9 to 5. So literally, I just went home last week, and I told my mom, I was like, I don't work at Nike anymore, right? I quit Nike in like 2017. She's like, yeah, you quit 2 years ago. But I was like, Mom, that's not what I mean. Like, I'm an escort now. She's like, no, you're not. Really? Are you serious right now?
She don't got the internet? It's all over your stuff?
Well, she does, but I have her blocked on Instagram. I have her blocked on Instagram and Facebook. So, no, it wasn't even anger. Like, my mom's very, like, nonchalant. So, if anything, she wanted to know. Like, when I told her about the podcast, she wanted to know what it was about. I told her about the rally last week in front of City Hall. She's like, she's interested to know.
So is the government trying to work towards decriminalizing it, or is just right now the sex workers, the programs, everyone trying to get there? But is it a conversation at the table yet?
Awareness.
It's literally, it's a conversation, and we're bringing awareness.
But it's not at the table yet.
No, the only thing, like, just yesterday there was a bill passed that's sitting on the governor's desk. I think it's like SB 850 and 841 or something like that, and it's basically going to create a registry to where if you've ever been charged with any form of prostitution, you go into this registry.
Like a sex offender?
See, they're not saying it's like that, but it basically is. And it's public record, public database. And once again, their goal here is to stop human trafficking. And so I guess their goal is, if we make this information public, people would stop buying sex, and then sex trafficking would stop. But that
doesn't sound
right. Exactly, but
again, sex trafficking and sex working.
It's completely different, but they're not, being that they're uneducated on these issues.
I don't think they care.
Yeah.
I think they're educated with it. I just don't think they care.
Yeah.
I did ask. I was like, do you guys think that sex work should be legalized? Why or why not? So some of the responses that I got were,
let's see.
I post way too much. Let's see. So on this one, we have Nutmeg says, yes, let them have the same workers' protections as anyone else. There is obviously a market, which there is.
That's
I think
it is a market.
It doesn't matter whether they legalize it or not, or decriminalize it.
It's
people
a huge
still want to buy sex.
that you make money.
It's
Look,
the oldest
Twitter
hustle.
and all these are making money off of these fucking sex videos,
No, like
OnlyFans
that
and stuff like
Yes.
that. Yeah,
It's been around since Jesus.
Grip
Before
D's.
Jesus.
Before
Right. Grip D says, yep, 2 consenting adults, make it legal, tax the workers, and regulate the safety with regular testing. Which I think that's why
literally
it's big.
legalizing.
People are saying legalize it because they want make it a pimp, because at the end of the day, there's some women and some men, because prostitution comes from men too, that just don't care. About just like we
Don't care
have
about
doctors
nothing.
that don't care about getting licensing, and they just do butt shots in basements. The same way that we have lash technicians that use like regular glue on eyelashes. So I feel like everything needs to be regulated because there's a black market for everything. So that way we can have that.
Yeah.
Holistic Wife said yes, but I don't know why. GP Carlos says, I don't see any problem. There are no victims. All consenting parties, just business being done. Now there's one out of all of these other ones says, there's this one, A Childress Jr., I don't know how you say it, says, no, it's immoral and teaches our young women the wrong message, is devaluing and dehumanizing. And when people say stuff like that, it brings me back to like old times. Bro, you're thinking about, you're judging someone for what they do.
Listen, unless that person is a virgin, was a virgin into marriage and doesn't engage in underage drinking, I don't even pay attention to like opinions like that because it's just like
it's a lot of it's a lot
honey,
of professions
child,
and stuff out there
please.
that as a child I was not influenced by. Like morticians, for example. Bitch, I don't want to be a mortician,
Right.
and that's legal and everything. I don't want to
It's
go into the
weird as
army. It's
hell.
like
It's
just because someone
respectability
is a sex
issues.
worker doesn't mean I, as a child, I'm going to influence. Like, oh, I want to be like her. And if I do want to be like her, bitch, great. I'm glad I'm able to see someone that is doing it and doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And now I'm able to follow that path and actually make a business out of it. Because the way you put it into LLC and all sort of stuff, it helps take women off the street and like, listen,
Yeah.
there's different
Out of
levels
all
to
the
this.
responses, I only had 2 no's, and both of them, it's like those ignorant no's. The other no was like, no, because sex is a sacred and intimate part of human connecting, not for sale.
Okay.
Not for sale. I'm sure you have before taken a
Look.
girl out to eat in hopes of getting sex. You just bought it.
Listen,
That's all you're doing.
Woo.
telling
It's
women
for
what-
sale. You
yeah.
can't.
It's
What do you
telling
mean
women
it's
what
not
they
for
can do
sale? So
their
you're
body.
telling you
Yeah.
can't. I can't sell anything on my body if I don't want. I can sell
That's
whatever I
the thing.
want. I
Like,
can charge
we
what I
should
want.
have autonomy over our bodies. Like laws should not be in my vagina.
I feel like psychology is extremely intimate. When we sit down with a therapist, we're giving them our most intimate moments, and they charge a lot. So we're
A
paying,
lot,
how
like
much
a
we paying for a
motherfucker.
goddamn therapist right now?
for 45
Look,
minutes.
I'm
with me,
paying
bitch.
80 right now for an hour. Yeah, my therapist.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you go to a therapist?
I was gonna ask that. Yeah, especially with the this,
So,
going through that.
Oh, the other thing I was gonna ask you. So I know everyone's probably thinking. So she's probably been molested. She has daddy issues. She was raped. Has any of that happened?
She said no. She
No,
said she
I have
didn't get-
2 daddies actually. I have one that raised me, and then I have my biological. Like literally, sex work. I didn't start from trauma. Like I just wanted to be independent, and I love having my own bag. So that's literally why I started.
Are you desensitized to sex, like intimate sex?
That's a good question. It depends. Well, for work, yes, because I'm really just not in tune. Because, like I said, for the most part,
So
I'm
you don't
not
enjoy it?
attracted. No, I think I'd even feel bad if I did. Okay, there's been a couple of guys, but they've been like super hot that I just, I was like, I love this life. Like, you pay me to fuck you. Like, so it's been a couple of times where it's just like super good. But then for the most part, to be honest, they're older. So it's like they can't do it how I like. You know what I'm saying? But
Do they last long?
Okay, so another thing is I have less sex being a paid hoe than I was as a free hoe. Like as a free hoe, I'm fucking different dicks all the time.
Right.
But as an escort, I could literally go weeks with having one date.
Yeah.
It was one guy. And so a lot of people think I'm just out here fucking. It's literally the complete fucking opposite. Like, and on top of that, I'm not even having sex in my personal life right now because I'm not dating. Like that.
So if a guy comes around now, I'm thinking like you probably just want. Are you gonna enjoy it? Do you know if you're gonna enjoy it?
I would enjoy it if he's my type. But it's like, I guess my mind isn't even.
So does your pussy get
on.
wet? Is that too
Yeah,
graphic?
no. It does if I'm
Girl, I'm
attracted
staying
to
the
the
fuck out
person.
this. Y'all talk. Go
But
ahead.
you know what though?
Because I'm thinking like, does it like I'm saying like if you were an escort yourself, would your dick get hard? For
I
someone
think
that
It's
you don't
hard
like?
for men.
Yeah.
I feel like that's got to be the
It's
hardest
I
thing.
tell you all the time, like my mind is connected to my dick, and
Right.
if I'm not into it,
My
mentally,
mind
I
is
can't
connected to
stay
my
in.
vagina. I can't fuck if I don't feel something for you. So I don't know if
But
I could
you
be
can
a
put
sex
some
worker.
lube
That's
down
why I'm
there.
a professional because
Yeah, exactly.
I literally can. Like I
She can
literally
turn it off.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
turn it on and off. Like I don't have to be attracted
Without
to
being
the person.
aroused?
Yeah, I don't have to be attracted or aroused to please my client. Because at the end of the day, they're booking me to be pleased. I'm not there to be pleased. I don't give a fuck about catching a nut or being pleased. I'm literally there to offer them an experience, and that's why they're there. So for the most part, a lot of these men, they are married, but they don't get affection or companionship at home. I
Make
get
that
so
up.
many
Yeah.
clients to where, I've been married for 20 plus years. I haven't been intimate in my wife in over 5. They sleep together every night, but they're not having sex. So they're literally booking me to hold their hand, tell them they're attractive, ask them about shit that their wife doesn't give a fuck about, and that's what they like. So a lot of my older clients, they're not even there for sex. They just want to talk. They want to be
Intimacy,
listened to.
yeah.
They want to be held, like legitimately.
What about I saw you also put a video about cleanliness.
Oh,
and
yeah.
your guy's not cleaning right or being stink or telling him to take a shower. That's another thing. Like, I can't imagine walking in and it's like, you're about to pay me cool. Now do I have to take your dick being stink in your balls and I got to
Look.
lick on them?
Look, okay, so
You ever licked a stink ball?
I mean, in my personal life, yeah, for fun too. It was real fun. But a lot of things that I do in my personal life, like I won't do with clients. Like, okay, so one of my favorite kinks is I love to eat ass. So don't drink
Girl,
off
shut
me.
the fuck up.
Look,
Shut up.
look. So, like, personally, I love the shit, and I love doing it to men that's never had it done before, because that's a lot of bitches not out here eating ass. Like,
Yeah.
listen, I love it.
So I had this question, and when it comes to straight women and pegging men, you know, and this is gonna be part of my shit talk, though.
I love that shit.
But do you make men
Bring
flee
that ass
and
here.
clean their ass out before you peg them? Like, who have? Because I don't think you heterosexual people know. Like, hey, it's a whole process
No,
they have to
hetero
go
men,
through.
to be honest, I don't think they peg. And I don't think they do enemas or cleanse correctly. But for the most part as well, when they're booking me for a pegging session, this isn't something that they do all the time. This is like they're in the skeleton closet secret. So they're coming to me because they can't have their wife fuck them in the ass because the wife gonna think something wrong.
Yeah.
So no, they don't.
So
do
does
enemas.
is it a messy situation or
No,
something?
not really. To be honest, no.
It's not chocolatey?
No, not really. No, like honestly, the clients I've had with pegging have been actually really clean. Cleaner than the guys to where can you go take a shower and they don't use a wash rag. There's a lot of grown men.
Okay, wait, you talked about that. We, in the Hispanic community, we don't use wash rags.
I use
So
a
what
wash
do you guys
rag.
use?
We use soap, our hands, and a lot of times, like, the gloves or
Really?
the sponges. We don't use, like, in Puerto Rico, I don't know of anyone
That uses a washcloth?
that uses
I
washcloths.
found out, yeah, that's a black people thing. 'cause
That's
white people don't
definitely
have
white
washcloths.
people don't either, but white people,
What?
I don't know if they use soap at
Listen.
all sometimes. But we don't
Okay.
use,
This is something new, low key.
yeah,
Okay.
we don't use wash
Okay.
rags.
I use a
So-
wash rag, girl.
Yeah, I guess
I
it's a
don't.
black thing because I had an African boo before and he didn't use a sponge or nothing. He used this net looking material and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But that's how he cleans. And I was just
Mhm.
like,
We either use it's like an exfoliator. So
Yeah, it's
we have
literally-
this sponge looking thing, or like it looks like a net. It's like a bunch of
that is
riled
what
up
it
net.
was. Okay.
Yeah, that's what at least we use,
Mm-hmm.
or the
I'm
gloves,
learning
or
something
just
new.
soap.
Look, black folks in America, we use washcloths. And
Yeah.
so when I'm giving them to my clients and they're still dry,
Mhm.
or I'll never forget this client I had. It was in Naples. No, it was in Pensacola, Florida, when I was working just Backpage. And this client just came off of work. I don't know what the fuck he did, but I seen him and then he left. And I went in the bathroom and it was literally a body towel on the floor with like the biggest shit streak on it. And all I could think about
wait,
was
what?
exactly. And so I'm like, I knew I smelled something a little funny, but my nigga, like, what's up? Then he just tucked it underneath the sink. Like, ain't even tell me like dirty. So a lot of people really don't know how to
So
bathe.
what do? You just say no, or do you go
No,
through with it?
No, what I do is, so when I'm doing in calls or whatever, which means they're coming to me, I always offer showers because, like, I'm an experience. So you're coming, you got wine, you got hors d'oeuvres, we got the candles, music, 80s R&B. I offer you a shower before and after.
So what did they say no?
You don't do this at your house, right?
I do.
So
I do in calls now at my place.
Okay.
So what if they say no to the shower?
So I have had clients say no to a shower, and usually it's because they just took one before coming.
Mhm.
But trust and believe, if I feel like they need a shower, they're gonna take a shower. So it's literally just about how I word it. But so far recently, like within the last year, since Backpage has been down, I have not had a situation to where a guy declined a shower and he wouldn't take it. So when they come over, I give them a towel and a washcloth, and I say, here goes soaps, because I have men's soaps like at my place, and I make sure that they clean up well. But also when they come into the bedroom, I also have my own like little washcloth for them, because I'll go over the shit again, like, because I'm very clean. Like, I don't want to smell nothing, like, you know.
Right.
Do you have any kids?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Do you want kids?
Yeah, I told myself by 30, I need my first house and my first child. Or at 30 or by 30. So I'm 26
Okay,
now.
so that's the thing about shit. I'm 30. Getting rid of those stigmas. You don't have to have a house by the time you're 30.
Oh,
you
no, that's
don't have
just
to
the
be married
goal.
with kids. So that's your personal goal.
I don't
But
wanna
don't
be
think about
married. I
don't think about your 30s as that's the time where you need to have it. At your
Yeah.
30s, you can still be figuring things out. But if you're working towards that and
Yeah.
thinking towards that now and planning towards it, that's
Mhm.
that's great.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't know what we want right away.
Oh,
It seems
for
like you
sure.
know what you want and how you want it. Now, my question to you is, what do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years, I won't be an escort anymore. I keep saying this is my last 2 years, but then I keep picking up more and more stuff to do. But I'm looking to transition out into real estate and an online store. So in all honesty, I'm going to get that starting now before I stop being an escort.
Right.
But in 10 years, I'm going to be rich. Like, I am a serial entrepreneur, so I'm always finding ways to make money. Before I was an escort, I was selling edibles. Before I was doing that, I was selling drugs. So I'm always
What kind of
Had
drugs
doing
this
was
hustler
something.
mentality.
Yeah, I'm always doing something, and I will never go back to a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I stopped my last 9 to 5 in January 2017, and I just love the freedom
You
of
know,
working for myself.
hopefully by by that time, this will
Yeah.
be decriminalized and legalized,
Hopefully.
and then you will be able to open up your own little and then mentor girls and have your own business
And
going. And
Yeah.
even if like just like the weed industry, for example, like how it became legalized now, and so many people open up dispensaries. and stuff,
By
it's
the time they
always a
legalize this shit, it's gonna be because white women want it, and it's gonna make a
It's
lot of
gonna-
I
money
know
for
in
them.
Florida though, like the people that would profit, they're already like you can't even buy
Yeah, you
into like
can't.
the marijuana
No.
business here in
It's
Florida.
You have to be a
It's
millionaire.
done. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
done.
we're
Yeah,
gonna have an
yeah.
episode coming up on that one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I always say I will never stop being a hoe. So even after you can, pay me to hang out, I don't give a damn if I am working wherever. If I can fuck the boss and he fine and I know he gonna pay my bills and get me to the next level, I'm gonna do it. Look, with no shame. So I will never stop being a hoe.
Yeah, I tell people like, I
Look,
empower you. Do your
I will
thing.
never stop. I will always have standards and
6936.
be about my coin.
Mm-hmm. So, do you require any of your clients and everything like that to take like STD tests and all this other stuff before you become intimate with them? Or
For the most part, that's within like the porn industry when they're doing like face-to-face meets,
yeah,
which I actually considered because when you become a porn star and you have fans, you're like Instagram model status.
yeah.
So like these people will pay top dollar to literally fuck you how you're being fucked in fucking
porn,
videos.
yeah.
So like that shit is like legitimate. But no,
You ever thought about doing porn?
I have, but I'm so stingy with myself. I'm like, when it come to me and coin, like, I don't like men that freeload. So I don't even like going to the strip club and like a bitch is up there really popping her shit and no one's throwing ones. I get offended.
Me too.
I don't like that shit. So I won't even go to the club with a group of dudes if they're not spending money. That's the first question I ask. You spending money? You giving me money to throw? Oh, okay, let's go. If not, I'm not going. So when it comes to porn, I just don't like that my body is out there for free for everyone to see and people are enjoying themselves and I'm not getting paid for every view. That's like, I want to get paid for all that shit.
So what about an OnlyFans account then? Cause
That'll be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be different.
That's what I think people are going towards now instead of getting into these studios and stuff.
Yeah.
They're creating their own platform.
So, and even then, you don't even have to do a studio. You can, like, I've been contacted by a couple of porn stars to where they just shoot from home, so it's very natural stuff, and that's the type of stuff I like to watch.
They call over. It's like, hey, let's collab with each other and stuff like that.
So I've considered. Like I said, I just don't like the freeloading aspect of it, like, cause I'm stingy. I'm stingy.
You're just
So
gonna keep it
I like
private.
I like to be in control of who sees me naked. I like to be in control of all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go into our unsolicited.
Okay. I'll share.
Let's see what advice we would give this woman. I need serious advice without judgment.
Okay.
We don't judge here. Might talk a little shit. We will not judge. My boyfriend and I have been together for 6 years, and I have a very healthy sexual relationship. So I'm honestly confused on how to feel about a situation that took place a couple of weeks ago. Because after 6 years, nothing like this has ever happened before or been discussed. One night, my boyfriend and I were laying down. His back turned to me, and I just randomly, more so playfully, wanted to poke my finger in his butt just to see his reaction. But when I did put my finger up there, I was greeted with no reaction at all.
Okay.
He actually allowed me to put my finger up there, fingering motion, multiple times before stopping me abruptly. I was already caught off guard by allowing him to do that, so I wanted to push the envelope to see how far he would let me take it. I told him that it wasn't considered gay. I told him that it wasn't considered gay because I'm a woman. Furthermore, he allowed me to do it once again, but he complained that my nails were too sharp. Then suggested something else, and then I said something else, and he agreed. I was allowed to insert a small object, almost pen-like, to his anal multiple times before he complained of discomfort and asked for lubricant. I've been with him for 6 years and never had any vibes that he may be into this or into men. He admitted to me that when he was younger, he would stick things up his butt and jack off, but that was many, many years ago. I'm just so very confused and feel like I don't even know this man, but I don't want to judge him. I'm not sure if he's even straight anymore, and I feel like I've opened Pandora's box that can't be closed. I don't want to put him in a box because he explained to me he did it only because he felt like I enjoyed it and wanted to please me. But since he's done it already in the past, it's hard for me to believe that it was done on my behalf. Please don't judge me. I just need an honest opinion. Take it from me, it's on it. Take it from me, it's on it.
You could go first.
So, what just happened was a beautiful thing that should happen in a relationship. You discovered what your boyfriend is into without him and without him coming to tell you, because you said, no judgment on your part, but you are actually judging him by saying like you never thought that he would be into men. Just because a man likes his ass played with does not make him gay at all. 100%. Being gay is being into the same sex. That's basically what it is.
I mean, you started it. You played with something, he liked it, now you got a problem with it?
And then you discovered it. So, my whole thing is, listen, if you're into it, you're comfortable, and he's comfortable, I think this will help your relationship, and it will open it up, and just continue to see how far you can take it. And I'm glad he was stopping your ass, bitch. And you had the fucking fingernails. That's the first thing I thought about. You cutting up that man booty, for one. You trying to go in dry, and then you going to stick a pin up his ass?
Like,
of course. But I'm glad, I'm glad to see that he said that he was into ass play and stuff like that when he was younger too, and being a heterosexual man that didn't come up to be gay. I didn't like my ass played when I was younger. I discovered that very because
I'm not super into
I'm
your
still
ass.
not into my, although I'm a bad bitch when I do give it up.
No.
But believe that. But it's not something that and I'm a gay man, and it's not like I don't need my ass played with. So I try to teach all my friends. I teach my female friends, especially Carla. Ass play does not equate to being gay. We talk about that all the time.
I grew up that way. It's like if you mess with your ass, very toxic masculinity.
Are taught.
It's like we all are taught that if you like your ass played, you're gay. Like a man that likes. And I have come to learn now in my adulthood, like I really don't care if you tell me you want your ass played. I don't think I'll peg you, and that probably won't be my thing. But I'm opening my horizons a lot more. And when I'm reading this, I'm thinking 6 years, bro. I have been with someone for 6 years, and sex gets boring. Maybe now he's like, cool, let's try something else. And you're judging him for it, bitch. You might want something. Like when I wanted a little finger stuck up in there about a year ago, it was cool.
Yeah.
Just the nail.
So my thing is, first of all, the male's G-spot is up his ass, right? It's so many,
educate the people.
There's so many men around here that won't even let a bitch lick the gooch. And me, I like that whole shit. Like I'm trying to teach you and put you on like this feel good, boo.
Yeah.
So for one, I don't like
trying to make you see God.
Right. Okay. Trying to bring it to the light. So I don't like when women talk about men or try to say they're not masculine because they like ass play, especially if they're comfortable enough to do it with you. That's a big thing because society, a lot of hetero men can't bring up the fact that they like shit up their ass or they like their ass licked.
They can't even say what they can't express themselves.
I think Kevin Gates was the first one to even bring the shit up that I like my ass licked, and the world was like, oh my God. That shit feels fucking good.
Same thing. Charlamagne said the same thing.
It feels good. And so it's just like, don't judge the man. If anything, like, see what he like. He doesn't have to be gay. Like, see what the hell he like and get into it.
So, and this is what happens, right?
That's why people call me.
My mom used to, exactly. That's what I was getting into. What you won't do, another bitch will.
And I love it.
And then it's like,
but that doesn't mean that if you're not comfortable with doing it, you should do it. So
right.
You don't do anything you don't want to do. So if a man is telling you he wants a threesome and you're not into it, don't do it for him, baby. Because he's going to leave you regardless. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Do what you're comfortable with.
But the whole thing is women can come and say, I want my pussy ate and all this other stuff from this man.
Stuff in my
and
ass.
all this, and men are supposed to go ahead and do it. But men can't come and say, hey, I like my ass. Oh, nigga, you gay. What the fuck?
First of all, you don't eat pussy, you're not even straight. Like, what the fuck?
So, a confession, I'm kind of like really into bi men. I think my husband low key might be bi. Because like if I were to do another threesome, like
a lot of women are. Trust me.
I love that shit.
And I gotta beat them bitches off with a stick. I do. I get hit on more by women than gay men.
But you're not bi. They want a bisexual man.
But it's still, I don't know what it is. It's probably my vibe and my energy, that both masculine and feminine energy that I give off that women are attracted to for some reason. I don't know. But go ahead and say
nothing.
Your thing.
I just like it because for me, it's a guy that's already comfortable in his sexuality, and a lot of the freak, black dungeon shit that I'm into, he wouldn't be opposed because he's already exposed versus a hetero man where it's like I can't even lick the gooch. I personally can't date someone if I can't eat their ass, like because that is just the opener to a lot of shit.
You do that with heterosexual men, right?
Yes.
And you have a huge thing about eating ass and heterosexual men. Do they all clean their ass? Do they have clean asses?
She talked about it. She made them take showers.
I've had one to where it wasn't all the way clean, but then I've had incidents where I wasn't all the way clean. And to be honest, like that just turns me on even more because we're nasty as fuck.
Oh, bitch!
You are judging, bitch. You are judging.
Listen,
I have met people. I've met people that told me they don't want me to take a shower and stuff like that after the gym. I had one guy actually stop me. And was like,
after
get
the gym,
your ass.
we're talking about must. We're talking about the ass. This is shit, bro. No.
I don't judge.
We are not gonna compare. sweating musky
If you
nuts
like-
to
That's
a little bit of
shit.
shit in there.
Let
No,
me finish.
it don't gotta be
Yeah,
shit.
It don't have to be
It just don't
shitty.
gotta be clean.
It just don't have to be
smell all
clean.
right.
They fine.
Off
They are
work.
totally fine with that. They would make stop cleaning yourself. I'm coming over. And I'm like, wait, now, girl, now and it was like,
Yo.
let me eat your ass like that. I've had
That's
that.
actually a fetish.
It's a
There's
fetish.
people that would
Just so
book
disgusting.
girls and they don't want them to shower.
Oh my God.
There's people out here that buy used panties. They
Yeah.
will literally
Where they
Bitch,
at?
I'm
I
about
got
to start
some.
selling I'm about to
No,
start
for
selling my drawers. For
Start,
real.
start an Instagram page with the shit and do the hashtags people, especially if you fucked in them and it's on film. They want those exact crusty ass cum filled draws. I kid you the fuck not. Skin marks and
How much they
everything.
want for 'em?
People.
Price it how you want.
Now, bitch,
The
you can go
same
sell
thing
your
with
drawers.
toes.
You so stupid.
Same thing with toes. Toes is a lucrative fucking business. If you
I've
got
seen
pretty
everybody
toes,
putting feet and stuff like that on social media. Right now, we're in a society, I think, because our platforms, we're able to say, like, hey, it's a bitch out there like me and everything like that.
Dead
Into the
ass.
same thing I'm
Dead
into.
ass.
And I'm willing to go ahead and let my freak flag fly.
Look.
I ain't got to sit next to
and
a
I'm
bitch
a
like.
root for you, whatever
Yeah.
you doing. Look, you better get that money,
Yes,
bitch.
yes.
Whether you selling your edges, whatever you doing, I'm with it.
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go into our last segment because we've been rambling on here.
I know.
There's
having a good
just so
time.
much to talk about when it
Yeah,
comes to this.
yeah.
So we're gonna go into our shit talk. What you got, Tony?
So my shit talk is actually on topic. We're talking about sex prep and hygiene. You know, me and this dude was sitting. We was talking after the session and everything like that, and we were talking about how people that don't clean themselves and everything like that can really ruin the whole mood.
Okay.
Let me tell y'all
Little
something.
dirty.
This is for gay men or straight men alike. If you guys are doing any type of anal play and everything like that, you know, make sure you take do some research if you've never done it before, okay? Make sure you know, clean your ass out. Nobody wants to be like, listen, shit is hard to get out your stains. The smell of shit is hard to get off your hands and your penis and all this other stuff. That's some shit that I'm not into, okay?
This is real
So you
shit talk.
motherfuckers need, yes, you motherfuckers really do. Like, listen, and I'm serious, educate yourself. Women too. My friends talking about they're into fucking anal play and all this other stuff. And the first thing I asked the girl, well, do you wash your ass out? And I think because ass play has become such a taboo subject, but a lot of people are
talking
into
about
it.
like they're talking about it more now. I think
Yeah.
it has
love
become
taboo.
a lot more open now.
Yeah.
And I'll ask dudes like, dude, like your ass play now? And they'll just be like, nah. Like I'm getting more of like, nah, I don't, or like what, or it's cool. Instead of like, oh, that's some gay shit. I've been listening less of a
Right.
response of that's some gay shit,
Mhm.
and more of like, nah, I'm not into
So
it.
my whole thing is take care of your fucking selves and all this other stuff. And I was gonna say something else, damn it, Carla, but you took me the fuck off.
My bad.
Of that.
Talking about shit for real.
Yeah, we
I
talking
really
about shit
like,
for-
that's my favorite
So,
subject.
oh
talking
yeah,
about shit.
okay. And then this is for my LGBT community. Tops, listen, when you know you about to set up a session and everything like that with a bottom and everything, don't rush their ass to get ready. And one thing I do when I text them, when me and the bottom is about to hook up, I ask them like, hey, how long is it gonna take you? It's gonna take you, and they tell me it's gonna take them an hour or 2 hours. Bitch, I won't text them. Hey, are you ready? Are you ready? Because
I'm
I don't
taking
want to
my
rush the
time.
situation. And then on top of that, make sure in order to help speed up the process, you guys eat your fiber, bitch. Make sure, because if you eat your fiber, it takes the clean. I'm giving you some real shit. This is some gems. And like eat your fiber,
Dead
and
ass.
you'll be able to clean your ass out in half the time and all this other stuff. So that's my 2 cents. Stop coming up to these motherfucking sessions with these nasty ass asses and want somebody playing your ass. I'm not into that. Now, if your partner's into it, have your motherfucking way, but not me, bitch.
Not true. Well, friend, I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave you with your shit talk.
Oh my
We're gonna
It
keep that
was
shitty
so
shit
on
talk.
brand.
We're gonna keep the shit talk going. And
It-
Sasha, how can they find you guys? You.
Yeah, me. I'm independent out here. Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Sasha Benjamin X. Okay, Sasha Benjamin, like $100 bill. Sasha Benjamin X. Twitter Sasha Benjamin _. And if you got over 600 to spend an hour, you can find me at sashabenjamin.com. Now, just because you got coin don't mean I'm gonna see you. I vet my clients and I'm very picky with who I allow to be my suitor. So just please be respectful and we may be able to meet.
This is the second time this podcast has been selling sex on it. First
Who
one
was the
Wax.
first one?
Wax
Wax.
was selling dick. And now we got we got a flavor for all
selling
y'all.
dick.
Everybody, Wax
Everybody.
selling dick, you selling you,
Right,
you know,
it's-
and I'm over here selling podcast consultations.
And I'm
We
over
sell
here,
it all.
and I'm over here selling houses. And
Yes,
since,
right.
since I'm
Yes.
selling houses, you guys, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest here in Central Florida, please give me a call. You can find my website at bertramestates.com. My Instagram is Tony_the_realtor. And yeah, if you're looking to purchase in another state, give me a call and I can hook you up with a realtor there and work closely with them to make sure your transaction is going smoothly.
And if you are about to start your podcast, guys, again, you don't have to do it one like this. That's conversation. It can be with your business. It doesn't matter what business you're in. You want to start out a podcast. You want people to start learning about you. It doesn't have to be an hour, 2 hours long. It can be a 15, 20 minute. It's a way of branding yourself. And podcasting now, it's huge. You own your platform. You own your work. And you end up getting ads. You can make money off of this. So hit me up. It's shitim30.com. You can go ahead and schedule your consultation for 1 hour. The link is on there. We'll get there. You'll get 2 templates. One is your sponsorship template, and the other one is your guest template pitch. So you can get guests on. I tell you all the equipment that you're going to need. I tell you the equipment not to get, how you can do consultations with people that are not in front of you face to face. There's so many things we'll go over, and I even send you a cheat sheet afterwards. Like, you'll get everything to a PowerPoint as soon as we're done with our consultation. So again, that's shitim30.com and schedule your consultation. And this week's review that I'm going to have for the show is going to be from, let's see who we're going to choose.
Girl, I thought
Courtney Joy. She just put it on Sunday. She says, "Shit, I'm really 30. I just started listening and I'm in love." Courtney, thank you so much for leaving that review. If you have an iPhone, iPad, Apple computer, or your friend does and you don't have it, go to your Apple podcast and just rate and review, and just leave a quick review, subscribe to it, and let me know what you like it. Leave a 5-star review on it. It makes it so much easier for us to get ads and to keep bringing you guys this information and a weekly show. And now we're starting to give you more content coming up probably within the next month on Patreon. So you'll get the video content and you'll also get an extra bonus episode a month that's only it's exclusive for you guys on Patreon. So that'll be coming up. So again, if you haven't yet rated and reviewed on iTunes, please do so. Share it. Like, you're listening to the show, like, screenshot and be like, "Hey, I'm listening to you on Instagram," and you share it. I love to reshare those, and I want to see what you're listening to and what you're thinking of, so we can interact with you. I ain't doing that all day, but watching on my phone. I'm just kidding. I'm doing shit, but I still like to interact with almost everyone on Instagram, unless you're just saying something stupid that I want. I'm gonna cuss you out. But that's about it.
So that's it. Thank you so much, Sasha,
Thank
for
you,
stopping
Sasha, for
by.
stopping
It's
by.
a
You were
pleasure.
awesome, and I can't
Yes.
remember who sent me your page.
Me either,
But
but thank
whoever,
you.
I'm gonna find it. Thank you so much for bringing her.
Yeah.
You were amazing.
Learned a lot.
Yes.
Thank
So I'll see
you.
you guys next week.
All right, goodbye, guys.
Deuces.
Bye.